What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clubhouse. I am Geddis, and I have DiNardo here with me. What is going on, DiNardo?
Hi, Geddis. How you doing?
It's another day, another dollar to be made. I got my Four Roses single barrel here. Gonna have a great show.
Already?
Great show. Huh?
Already?
Can't drink all day unless you start in the morning.
There it is.
That's the famous slogan. So
That's
how you
been the motto that I know Geddis by.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm good, man. How about you?
It is. Like I said, we're doing good. So for everybody that's watching, you probably noticed something a little bit different. It's only one person instead of having two. So look, we build it while we fly. We're trying different renditions, different ways of doing it to see what's the best way in order for consumers or people that are supporting us to be able to watch it and enjoy it. So we figured, hey, why not do a one-on-one battle and kind of see how people like that. So here we are. We have two topics that we're going to discuss today. The first one is one that I kind of hold dear to my heart. For those who don't know, I was born in New York, but I'm pretty much been raised here in Jacksonville, so I'm a Jaguar fan. But I peek in from time to time on the Steelers because
yes, you do.
Yeah. I respect the organization. I don't like the Steelers though, but I respect the organization. And there's a lot of talk going around right now about Mike Tomlin that I actually I find quite interesting. It seems like a lot of people want Mike Tomlin to be fired. I personally don't understand okay, let me not say I don't understand the reason why. I kind of get it. I think it's stupid, but I get why people are saying these things because, of course, the last time you had a Super Bowl was, 2007, I believe.
It's been a while. I think 7, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while.
I say that as a Pirates fan. It's been a while. Only 2007, Geddis. Not 1979 like the Pirates.
Right. So that actually goes to one of my points here. I think people don't realize how effing hard it is to actually get to the Super Bowl. Steelers fan base is spoiled. I'm just gonna say you're spoiled rotten. You're spoiled.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah. So the idea that there's an expectation that you're just gonna get to the Super Bowl every year, like, it's kind of wild to me, especially when you have a coach that's, I believe his record is like 169 wins, 101 losses, 2 ties over the course of his tenure there. The thing that's made the Steelers is that they don't bounce through coaches like other teams do, like the Jaguars did, like the Chargers are about to start doing, what the Broncos have done, a lot of these other teams have done. That's what made the team what it is. It's been solid because they stick by their coaches. Now, people are going to sit out here and blame Mike Tomlin, saying that the team, they should fire him because the team is trash. Hear me out here. Could you think that maybe possibly Kenny Pickett sucks and so does Mitchell Trubisky? You can't win without quarterbacks. Let's take a second to look at DeMeco Ryans, right? First year, Houston Texans went 3-13 last year, right?
Right.
They're 8-6 right now, right? I can make the argument that the Texans weren't as trash as their record was last year, but they did two things. They got a new head coach, right? Because they had no coaches. What was it? Lovie Smith. We already knew he was a lame duck coach. Like, he was just there to bridge the gap, right? So they get their head coach. They draft CJ Stroud. He's the truth. He's it. The what I expected Trevor Lawrence to be when he stepped on the field the first time he stepped on the field is what CJ Stroud is. That is exactly what he is. It's funny because Frank Reich got fired by the Carolina Panthers and he wanted CJ Stroud, so he was right and he got fired for a mistake the GM made. But anyway, you can see the benefit of having a legitimate quarterback rolling with you as a coach.
Right.
Y'all have a trash quarterback and a trash ass quarterback backing up, and you're blaming the head coach. It's a matter of just wanting to have somebody that they can take their head. They want someone's head on the platter, and it's easy to go for the head coach because they know Kenny Pickett ain't going nowhere. They know he's not going anywhere, and I don't care if you wanted him or not. The Steelers didn't draft a quarterback out of Pittsburgh that turned out to be Dan Marino. They had no choice but to draft Kenny Pickett. Sorry.
I mean, they had a choice. They made the choice.
Yeah, they had the choice, but they didn't have the choice. It's like, could you imagine if they didn't draft Kenny Pickett and Kenny Pickett was Dan Marino number 2?
Sure.
There's no way they can handle that.
But this kind of goes back to the whole like Chris Archer trade with Pittsburgh. I mean, I loved Chris Archer coming to Pittsburgh, right? Mm. But it was different. Like that's not the way the Pirates operated, right? It almost felt like they succumbed to like fan pressure that like we have to do something. This will rile up the fans. Let's do this, and it didn't work out, right? And like how you're saying, like they had to. You don't have to. If you don't believe he's the guy, you just don't do it. Like you don't go ahead and succumb to the fan pressure. Like, well, what if another team gets him? We can't make that mistake. What are you doing as a GM?
Right.
So like. That's why I'm saying that. Like you have the choice. You made the choice to say we can't buckle under that pressure. And if this happens, we want to be those people. But instead, you made that choice. And I'll say this a couple of times because this is what's funny. Because again, Mike Tomlin, very polarizing right now. The Steelers play. Well, Bucko Mike's going to hammer us. This is pre-recorded. Steelers are playing today. It is Saturday. But what's his big saying? Don't live in your fears, right? So do you draft Kenny Pickett because you don't want to live in your fears?
Well,
that's the type of stuff that gets you fired.
Right. Now, of course, that's just me. That's speculation. I'm under the assumption that Kenny Pickett's the guy, and that's why they drafted him. But it's evident that Kenny Pickett is not the guy, or at least not the guy yet. And I don't care what y'all say. Mitchell Trubisky is. He's ass. Like he's just not. He's not good.
I'm not even a football guy, but yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah, he's not good. And then now you got Mason Rudolph. I think they're running out there now. You cannot put this all on Mike Tomlin. I'm tired of hearing it. If you're going to be telling me that Mike Tomlin's got to go, then the whole front office has to go. The whole front office has to go. If you're not clamoring for the whole front office to go, including Mike Tomlin, then I don't want to hear what you got to say. Because what's the head coach that you're bringing in that's going to fix Kenny Pickett? What's the head coach that's coming in that's going to fix Mitchell Trubisky? What's the head coach that's going to make Najee Harris become a decent running back? Like these aren't things that's going to happen just because you bring a coach in. The way your team is currently constructed is not good. It just isn't good. It just isn't. And you know what's crazy? It's not like they're a 2-10 team like the Carolina Panthers. They're still a mid-tier team. And I get it because being a mid-tier team means it's kind of like purgatory. You're not, and I'll say this. I find it hilarious that y'all are in this. Y'all are too good to be bad and too bad to be good. Look,
Geddis is still salty.
Yeah. I find it to be hilarious, but ultimately he's still winning games. Like he's still winning games here. He's still winning games. He's one of the if you rank him amongst a lot of these other coaches, and I get it. You know, people want to get this like the young boy, the boy genius type stuff. But it's not like Mike Tomlin's not doing what he needs to do. I call him Matt Canada. I call him Canada. but obviously they got rid of him, right? Sure. They got somebody else in now. Like imagine if they would have got went after Ken Dorsey or something like that. I don't think this whole thing lies on Mike Tomlin's head. But then to just yell, "Oh, we need to get him out of here and get somebody." No. Y'all need to get a better quarterback. That's simply what it is.
So I'll kind of put it this way, right? I mean, I look on the outside in as well. Like I'm not a Steeler fan, but when you're on Pirates Twitter, you see enough Steeler takes, you see enough talk, right? You follow enough beat writers still, like you see a lot of stuff, right? And of course, Jim, Tyler, Ryan, they're all Steeler fans. Cody, so just like you, right? Like I get enough of this, right? I see, right. I probably follow and hear more stuff about Steelers than I do Dolphins. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
but
I'm kind of the same way.
I've been a Tomlin defender for a long time. I would love for Mike Tomlin to be a coach of the Dolphins.
You get a coach the next
now. Until now, because I love my dude right now.
Yeah, he's a DiNardo type.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
he's he's a South Beach type dude as well.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny in saying that is personality wise, to a degree, him and Tomlin are very similar. Very similar. I mean, you want to talk about players coach, you want to talk about accountability, right? Like a lot of their beliefs and the way they operate, they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one's defensive minded, who doesn't really do much on the field defensively. He was at the coordinators, it seems like, and one's offensive minded. And you see the Dolphins offense this year. But, I respect Mike Tomlin a ton. I think he gets a lot more hate than he should, but I guess I understand that because when you are a Steelers fan, you're spoiled. Because Steelers fans, you are spoiled. Once again, you're spoiled, whiny brats.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I get it. They are the Steelers because they're the Steelers, right? That's why Snoop Dogg, that's why they're part of pop culture.
Right.
Because there is a Steelers way. And a lot of people say that's been lost. And Ben Roethlisberger even comes out and says, what is a Steelers way anymore? And part of that, but listen, right?
You don't have a quarterback.
Why is that coming up? Because they're not winning, right? If they're winning, that solves everything. And they're not winning now. So you can blame Tomlin, and I get it. He's not the best in-game coach, I feel. Let's translate to this baseball. Again, I keep going to the Indians back then, the Guardians and the Cubs. Joe Madden was a terrible in-game manager, right? And Terry Francona is a wonderful in-game manager. But Joe Madden is just great with the players, great with the clubhouse. And that's what Mike Tomlin is. To me, that's almost maybe in football different, but the most important part of the job. Because you have your coordinators. They're going to do what they need to do, right? You got to manage everything. You got to keep everything together. And I think Tomlin does a good job of that. But you talk about the front office. Now, I know they got a new GM this year, but I mean, how many times have they missed out? I mean, they've draft after draft just been awful. So it's like what you're saying. You have a good coach who has mid-tier talent.
Right.
And they're playing mid-tier football.
Right.
And to your point, they're probably not going to get better nor worse because that's also not the Steeler way.
Right.
So they're just kind of riding this out the best they can.
Right. Can you give me any head coach that wins with an awful quarterback?
Because not many.
Not
Look at Bill Belichick, right? I mean, he was the GOAT. But you know who else was the GOAT? Tom Brady. And what has happened since?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
And people want his head. And I don't think Bill Belichick should be fired. I think he should, but not as the head coach. He should be fired as a general manager. He shouldn't be fired as the head coach. He should not be fired as the head coach because obviously that defense is still raw. So it's okay, well, what's the issue? Oh, I know what it is. They don't have a quarterback. I look at the Steelers. Wow. They're still winning games. What's their issue? Oh, I know. They don't have a quarterback.
Sure.
So maybe rather than y'all screaming like little petulant children about the fact that you don't like your head coach who has been great while he's been there, maybe you should go talk about the general manager and say, hey, look, maybe you should go out here and trade and get one of these quarterbacks if you think they're legit. Maybe you should go on some of these later drafts and draft another quarterback to see if they're going to be legit. I'm telling you, your primary issue is not Mike Tomlin. Your primary issue is you don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback.
But let me ask you this. And I'm not a Kenny Pickett hater, not a Kenny Pickett lover. I like the guy.
He's average.
I like the story, you know? But it's not like he came out of college hyped up as he was a good quarterback. And let's be honest too, it's not as if he tore up Pitt. Because if he did until his last year, he probably wouldn't be a Pitt his last year. So, you know what I mean? He had a really, really good senior year. And again, he's not a terrible quarterback by any means. He's in the NFL. Normal guys just can't do that. But I'm going to probably reference this a lot with the Dolphins and such, right? I know it's a little bit different because there was injury.
Mm-hmm.
But Tua was awful.
Yes.
I mean, I was down on Tua. I was this almost the same thing. Tua cannot throw deep. Tua just short, dump. He looks awful. And then it clicked. Now he also had talent put around him now.
Tyreek Hill.
A very offensive-minded, coaching staff. And I guess that's where I can see the resemblance of, I mean, do you give up on Pickett now? It's hard to, I mean, you're probably going to side with the players more than the coaches, right?
Yeah.
So do you give up on Pickett? Like, that's why you get rid of Canada. Now, not much is going to change in season, and I get that too. So it's like, okay, now next year you have a fresh new offensive coordinator. Get someone that actually fits, you know, like don't let that be the excuse and then see what you have. And like at that point in time, I can see it. But like I understand where it's like, okay, you got to get rid of Canada, as you like to call him. Canada, whatever it was.
Canada.
Canada. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just a tough situation. Like you said, like they're just mid right now. They're in the worst spot you want to be. They're not good. They're not bad. They just exist. And that doesn't fly with Steeler fans. Like as a Jaguar fan, if you were the Steelers record right now for like every single year, for the most part, you'd probably be
I'd be like,
happy.
Okay, let's try to get some trades here so we can get some things really going and moving so we can make some things truly happen. Like,
and as a Steeler fan, that's not good enough.
Do. I would go after, I would build a team, you know, like, let's talk about the Dolphins. They got a legitimate offensive line and they got heavy hitting, fast running backs and fast wide receivers, and they'll take the top off the defense and knock your head off with a baseball bat.
That's right. Keep talking.
That's what they do. Now, I don't know.
Can you keep going? I want to hear more.
Well, I don't know if they're frauds or not. That's the only thing. I don't know if they're frauds or not. But on paper, they look legit. You cannot tell me that if another coach right now in the NFL with this same squad the Steelers had would have 3 more wins, 4 more wins. You don't. That's not. No. It's not.
That's a good point.
It's not a thing. There's nobody out here that's going to change what the Steelers have done. You cannot name to me one coach. It's just a bunch of emotion, and I just want to get off with this head. And I'm like, no. How about y'all calm down and relax? Understand? I get it. You haven't been in a Super Bowl in a long time. I've never been there, so I'm just like, just relax, chill out, and ride the wave. Draft another quarterback. Let there be open competition. There's nothing wrong with there being open competition and seeing what the F happens. Or or trade for another receiver, right?
Well, let me ask you this.
We've seen this blueprint. And this is where my issue is with the Jaguars. You get the quarterback, you build an offensive line, you build the defense, right? You trade for a top flight receiver. And you run it, and you try to run it. The Bills have done it. The Dolphins are doing it. Multiple teams have done this. This is the current blueprint right now. Get a wide receiver that can take the top off. Obviously, I don't know who that person is. I don't know what you offer to get it. But if you're like, okay, I don't know, F it. We're gonna figure out a way to get, I don't know, DJ Metcalf or somebody like that. Somebody big that can just run up the field and do whatever they got to do. Don't tell me that's Kenny. Don't tell me that's the dude y'all got now, because it's not. They're not the same way. We don't have that either in Jacksonville, and that's what we need. So maybe you do that, and then Kenny Pickett has a dude, AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts looked like ass until they got AJ Brown, and now he gets paid, and they look like effing world.
There's another example,
right? So how about this? Rather than complaining and crying about a head coach, go get a receiver. Go get a receiver, and then come talk to me. Go ahead.
No, that's fair. And I was going to say is, I mean, this is something Tyler preaches all the time. And like, I get it too, because you talk about the coaching tree, and it seems like, again, like it kind of comes down to Tomlin, but it's like, if it's always the coordinators, and the coordinators are always terrible.
Yeah.
Like, whose fault is that?
That's a fair argument.
You know? And like, where is the coaching tree? Like, who comes from the Steelers and moves on and does anything? Like, no one really does. There really isn't
that's
much.
Not fair, because Bill Belichick don't got nothing either.
I mean, I guess that's true. He definitely had hot names. There's not even hot names that come
Bill Belichick, but they do. Who's ever panned out? Joe Judge? Like, none of these dudes ever really panned out. Josh McDaniels? Like, these dudes are all awful. Look, if people were clamoring about Byron effing Leftwich, bro, especially coming here to Jacksonville, and thank God we got Doug Peterson. I'm like, Byron Leftwich. And I'm like,
it's funny? When Doug Peterson went there, I was like, that's awful. I hated it. I don't know how you thought.
Oh, I loved it. Because everybody wanted Byron Leftwich. So Byron Leftwich is freaking Tampa Bay when he had Jameis Winston, Jameis Winston had, he's going to have the greatest 30 for 30 ever because it's going to be called 30 for 30, right? No risk it, no biscuit, right? And they tried to do that with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like, hey, no, we got to change this up a little bit. I'm Tom Brady. I like to run what I run. And then, boom, they started balling out. That wasn't Byron Leftwich. I'm not saying Byron Leftwich didn't play a part in it, but I'm like, that's a big part of that's Tom Brady. But so, like,
he's Tom Brady.
Right.
Another example. Or
Another
the Bucks.
example.
I mean, like, with or without Tom Brady.
Right. So I'm like, dog. So I'm like, no. Like, go before Staley with the Chargers. That's a bad coach. He had Justin Herbert, and I don't care what anybody says. That defense gave up on them because that defense is much better than the way they played. That is a bad coach. That is not Mike Tomlin.
What do you think about Ryan Clark's comments? Did you hear those recently?
No, I did not.
Him
on
and
his podcast that he said this?
I don't think it was on the podcast. I think it was on his show. The one show he does. You know how him and Mike Tomlin are pretty much boys.
Yeah.
I mean, they're boys.
Yeah, they're close. Yeah. He
came out and said it was just this week. I don't know if it was, Friday, Thursday, whatever. It was just recent though, that he needs to go. This is coming from him. He said he needs to go. And the way he worded it and talked about it gave me a perspective that I guess I can maybe understand. And he needs to get out of Pittsburgh. Like the same way Andy Reid, he goes, it's nothing about Coach T.
Oh, so it's not about Tomlin. It's about Mike. It's about the Steelers, and he needs to get away from them.
Right.
Oh, no,
he goes, he is a great coach. He needs to get out the same way Andy Reid did.
I'll accept that.
I'm kind of on.
No, but that's not the Steelers fan base. That's not what they're saying. They're not saying we need to split ways, go do your great ways. They're saying get rid of him because he sucks. And I'm like, so explain to me the head coach is going to be better. Like, tell me who right now you're replaced with him. Jim Harbaugh? Like, who do you replace with him? If you're watching this, please let me know in the comments. Who the F are you replacing Mike Tomlin with? Because I don't see it. You know what? Y'all should let him go. He should be fired. Let him walk. He should be fired. And then y'all get years of purgatory, and then I get to laugh even more. It would be great. You're right.
But here's the thing. Steelers fans will be satisfied. You know why?
Why?
Because it gives them more years to hate Tomlin, because they're not losing because the new coach is bad. They're losing because the new coach is losing with Tomlin's players. Just as if Tomlin won with Cowher's players, right? It was the only reason he was good because he won with Cowher's. The new one will be losing with Tomlin's players. So they'll give them more years to feed into Tomlin being terrible and passing the blame to him even more. That's what's going to be wonderful about the firing.
I don't, you know what? I don't even know why I brought this topic up. I don't even know why I brought this up. Look, you don't like the guy, you don't like the guy. I don't know why I brought this up because you're fanatics. You're the lack of objectivity. It's like, I don't have the cognitive ability to be objective. Like, I'm just like, all right, fine. Whatever. Then if that's the case, then that's the case. Fire the dude. Let the dude go somewhere else. You know what? F around and let him end up in LA then. Let him go get Justin Herbert and that defense and him go do what he's doing. You can't say it's the effing players because Staley is awful and he couldn't win with those players. It was cowards players. If he was a bad coach, he would have lost with those players. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, well, he got Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's how it works.
He's a good quarterback. And again, good quarterbacks win.
I'm elected to Tom Brady. Yeah, no shit.
And Andy Reid had who? Twice? Donovan McNabb. Now he's got Patrick Mahomes.
He was winning. He was winning with why am I forgetting the dude's first name? Alex Smith. And then and nobody knew Pat Mahomes was going to be Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes plays that 1 year to end the season. It comes back. And oh, my goodness. I didn't realize they went and just drafted Jesus Christ. I didn't know that. He just turns into whatever he freaking turns into. So, it just
speak on it, Geddis.
It irks me. And then you look at Bill, you get Bieniemy. They're like, oh, well, Bieniemy's not that good because he's underneath Andy Reid and have Pat Mahomes as quarterback. So there's no way. You see what he's doing in Washington? Now Washington's trash. I get that, but your boy Powell, I don't know who the hell he is. He's putting up numbers, and I don't want to hear nothing about his turnovers because Josh Allen has turnovers too.
You know who doesn't have turnovers?
Who?
Kenny Pickett.
He doesn't have touchdowns either. He doesn't have touchdowns either. You're, to take the chains off. If I would complain about something, I don't know how many turnovers he has, but if you have less than 10 turnovers, Kenny Pickett, then you're not throwing the ball enough. I need to
let me ask you something.
Okay.
So they keep Mike Tomlin and they do all the right things, right? Like we're going to see what Kenny Pickett really is. They get out some young offensive minded coordinator. They get a good scheme going, right?
Yes.
If Kenny Pickett doesn't amount to anything, what happens next year? Everybody go. Tomlin's still staying.
I mean, if you want my opinion, people might think I'm crazy. You just get rid of Kenny Pickett and you keep the coach.
What if he plays well and the Steelers are still in the same position?
Okay, then you have an argument. Then you have an argument. Then you have an argument. I can make. Then we have an argument. But don't tell me that you're going to then take the team that he has and then just go get some young boy coach to replace Mike Tomlin, because that's not what you do with a team like that. If you think the team is ready to go and the team is good, and all you need is a head coach, you don't go get you don't just go get some young coordinator to throw in there. You don't do that. You don't do that. You get somebody that's more established because the team is ready to go.
So part B, Tomlin goes in the next season, Kenny Pickett goes in the next season, and they don't get some offensive minded whatever, and it's still like pretty much the same scheme, and they're still doing the same thing.
Then that's on Mike Tomlin's head. Then that's because he didn't.
What happens then?
I mean, at that
again, he's ultimately the one making like a lot of these decisions. He's he's allowing them to just stay here at that point.
So
you have an argument then?
Yeah. So it's
like if it's not so much about him, but his decision on personnel, all that, right?
Yes. So in my head, I think to myself, if you're like, hey, my team is not that great, I just fired my offensive coordinator because that seems to be what my issue is, right? Because they do that. I don't know how to say his last name. Starts with F, the tight end or whatever. Like he's been doing well. So I'm like, okay,
Muth.
Yeah. So let's
actually, it's just Heath. It's just Heath. It's Heath Miller 5.0 right now at this point.
Regardless of what his name is, but they seem to have changed some things, right? So if you go into the next season and you're doing the same exact thing that you did last year, you're like basically you handcuff Kenny Pickett. You don't want him to make mistake. You give him Zach Wilson treatment, right? You do that and they still lose the game, still lose games, they're not doing well, and they're still like a mid-tier puddling team, then we have a conversation. But my expectation is that he's either going to keep the offensive coordinator that he's got right now, do different things, or you get some young offensive coordinator, a dude that plays Madden on the regular, that knows how to run an offense. And if you don't do that, you trot out the same team, you have the same exact results, then hey, at that point you say, we're done with Kenny Pickett, we're done with the front office, we're done with Mike Tomlin, we're starting F over. And then hopefully y'all suck.
Hopefully you suck.
I'm just kidding.
You have ulterior motives. You're trying to trash this organization. You're trying to talk fans into doing this and keeping this the same. So that way the Steelers stay in purgatory to give your Jaguars a better chance. Which I'm okay with because that helps my Dolphins too.
Yeah, hey, look, I'll say this much. I'm not a Steelers fan. The Steelers fan base kind of annoys me. I do respect Mike Tomlin, and I respect the Steelers organization. So I may not like it's no different than with the Patriots. I don't like Tom Brady, but I respect the hell out of him. And I respect the hell out of Bill Belichick and the Patriots. That does not mean that I have to like them. I respect this. I respect the Steelers. I respect what they built. I respect the organization. I respect the fact that y'all always know how to draft wide receivers and all that, blah, 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 blah. I still don't like y'all. But I can still
Is it okay that I like Tom Brady now?
Huh?
Is it okay that I like Tom Brady now? I hate to say it out loud, but I like that man.
I like retired Tom Brady. I like
him in Tampa too. Like when he left New England, because again, I'm a Dolphins fan, Geddis. I hate Tom Brady. Yeah. I hate Tom Brady. And then he went to Tampa and showed me that dude is a likable guy.
He is.
Man, I'm pissed. Why do I like Tom Brady now? I love Tom Brady. God damn it.
I didn't like the Patriots Tom Brady, right?
No.
I love Tampa Bay Tom Brady, especially when he's getting in the face of players and stuff like that. I even like that when he was doing it in New England, to be honest with you. So I like and then the whole thing with Gisele Bündchen, which is effing hilarious because you're never going to be able to replace Tom Brady, but good for you. Yeah, do you. I like that Brady even more because that Brady is out here just enjoying his life, doing whatever. He don't seem the least bit upset. So I'm like, I like this. I like, Tom Brady. I like Tom Brady. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm envious.
All right.
Anyways.
So that's enough of that rant. So there's something else I wanted to touch before we get out of here. So just recently you aired your grievances on that was was it North Shore 9 Live or
yeah, it is 9 Live.
Yeah. So I believe it was you, Tyler, and Jim. So there was one thing that kind of stuck out to me the most, and that was the conversation regarding Scott Boras. So for those that are watching this and did get the opportunity to watch it, go back and watch it. But if you want to give like a brief synopsis of what your position was on Scott Boras, and also to frame this out so people can understand this, there's currently right now there are people on Twitter, I can't say names, but there's people on Twitter that are complaining about the fact that Scott Boras is getting his players the most money they can possibly get. All right. That's the framework. Go ahead, DiNardo. Let us know.
Let me just clarify what you said, because you blew out the framework. So the complaint is that Scott Boras is getting his players the most money as possible. Like, that's the complaint. Again, like, realize the words that came out of your mouth and realize that that's basically the complaint. Now, so basically this is what it comes down to, right? Scott Boras is the boogeyman in MLB. And why is that? Because there's no salary cap. So the haves and the have-nots, right, are battling it out. And the haves can have players, and the have-nots just simply can't. You can't envision an opportunity where they can even have or entertain the idea of getting one of the better players because they're just poor. And it's Scott Boras' fault. It's all Scott Boras' fault, right? And what's funny is it's heightened now because what are you seeing right now? The Dodgers have spent $1 billion+ and just
325
two
million
people, by the way, just two people. Ohtani got 700 million. Yamada got 325. Tyler Glasnow got in the trade, and they extended him this contract. Like, they spent over $1 billion just on two people. And since we're a Pirates podcast, let's talk about that. The Pirates have now spent six, I believe, is the total number. I could be wrong on top of my head right now, but at any rate, like, that's not a Scott Boras thing. But here's the thing, right? Let's layer this out, Geddis. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers have gone and spent $1 billion on two players. Guess what? Neither of those players were represented by Scott Boras, by the way. Mind you, neither are Scott Boras clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, okay, so Cody Bellinger right now, he's one of the top free agents. That's what in the news. He's looking for like a 12-year, $200+ million contract, right?
Oh, he did talk about. There's people talking about the fact that he's getting contracts past the player's effectiveness.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you're. Honestly, let's detail that out. That's kind of been the pattern. Like think about Bryce Harper, right? That's a good one. Like, Bryce Harper signed a 13-year deal, right? $325 million, I think, was on top of my head, right? Mm-hmm. Which was like crazy, like a 13. Like, he broke the 10-year barrier. 13 years now we're at, right, with him, mm-hmm. And like, it's kind of crazy. That's a long commitment. But, he hit free agency kind of young. So, like, you can kind of make sense. But he's still there till, like, you're paying till 40 years old, right?
Right.
But what did that do? It brought his average annual salary down a little bit. So, like, it benefited the Phillies because, you know what? When they're only paying him like 20-some million a year, they have more flexibility to pump in talent to that team.
Yep.
Right? So it kind of worked out. But here's it's so bad, because you're paying him till he's 40. Well, that's just the price of business now. So for 10 years, hopefully, you have a really, really good Bryce Harper. And for a whole decade, 10 years, Steeler fans, are you listening? For 10 years, you can pretty much surround this organization and be in it. I have Bryce effing Harper on my club for a decade. Mm-hmm. And it's at a price point where I can still add. He's not cleaning house. I'm not, giving all this salary on just one player and I'm wiped out. It allows me some flexibility. I can build around him for a decade. I can build a good team. And the cost of that is, for 3 years after, It might not be that good of a contract, and we might have to work some things out. But for a decade, I'm building this window. The team signs it because they said, you know what? I like that idea. Mm-hmm. I like that idea. We have Zach Wheeler. We just signed Aaron Nola, right? Part of that is because we were able to have this contract by Bryce Harper to give us a little more flexibility. Team says that's good. Here's the paper. Sign it, Bryce Harper. Yeah. Bryce Harper says I'm good because that's $325 million. So I'll sign the paper. And Scott Boras says, you're welcome. You're welcome. I need my cut because I just did both of you a favor.
Yep.
You know who didn't get any favors? The Pirates. Do you know why? Because they said we've only handed out $30 million in free agency as our top contract. 3 years, $39 million, Francisco Liriano, their highest free agent deal ever. They said that's too rich for us, so they missed out. So what do fans do? What do people close here do? Got to blame Scott Boras. Got to blame Scott Boras. It's his fault. This is bad for baseball. And I'm not going to go down the salary cap road. I absolutely see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'll just put it this way. I see both sides. Kind of like your Tomlin argument for that. There's an argument. There's absolutely an argument. I will say that.
Right. There is.
Right. There is an argument here. But what I think so many people miss out on is they just go, right, well, we have to blame this on. The reason the Pirates can only afford a $70 million freaking payroll is because of the salary cap. Like, here's the thing. Then don't get Bryce Harper. But you're not getting tier B. You're not getting tier C free agents. You're literally getting the bottom of everything. And that's not Scott Boras' fault, right? Like, Scott Boras is hired by his client, Bryce Harper, and he does what Bryce Harper wants, and Scott Boras is really good at his job, so what does he do? He gets what his client wants.
Facts.
That's not a Scott Boras problem. That's not a problem at all. And if it was so bad, you know what the Phillies could do? No, we don't want that. That doesn't work for us. We're going to move on.
Can I break?
If this doesn't work and he's so bad and it's bad for the game, then why is the game accept what he gives?
Right. Let me break something down to y'all real quick, right? Because DiNardo's dropping a little some hard truths, right? I'm gonna break something down for you. There is no hope, right? There's no hope unless the team is sold. There's no hope. I understand that you want to.
Let me stop you there.
No.
Even with the team, I just want to say something real quick because I know a lot. I mean, so much. The same people too, in the same sense. Nothing has to sell. And trust me, if he did, I would be more hopeful.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Geddis, the next guy that comes in and buys a team, maybe a little differently, but not much is going to change.
Right.
Because billionaires are billionaires because they like money.
Right. And most of them don't throw their money away. So I get it. The idea is this. Deep down inside, the fan base knows I'm not going to get this guy to spend more money. You can't control the owner, right? So I'm going to put the owner in a bucket. Let's control the players now. Because if I can control the players and restrict how much money they get, then I can get the players that I want. Guess what? That ain't going to happen. It's I get it, right? Because in your head, it's like there's no hope. Then there's no hope. I'm not gonna get what I want. I'm not gonna get what I want. I'm gonna have to go on chance, and potentially the players that I got are hopefully we catch lightning in a bottle, and boom, we can roll into World Series, win one, and then we're back to being trash again. Look, the reason why this discussion annoys me, the reason why I brought this up, is that I need people to realize that you are closer to the players than you are the owners. That is it. You're closer to the players than you are the owners. The fact that you're so concerned about the owner's money drives me nuts. I don't care if Ohtani was able to get a 15-year, $2 billion contract. If they're willing to pay it, damn it, give them the money. And it's obvious that these teams want to do it. Bryce Harper got his money. The Padres were giving out contracts like it was nothing. The fact that you're upset about Scott Boras getting these players their money is dumb to me. If you worked your job and you had an agent, you're not going to take less money because you want the fan base to be happy that they have a winning team. So shut it up. It's enough.
Unless you want to.
Unless you want to. But they're just playing a game, and they're already making millions of dollars. So, I mean, they shouldn't be trying to be greedy and get more. No, damn that. The owners make more money. They make more money. There's money that they're making hand over freaking fist. Damn it, I want some of it, if not all of it. It's crazy that you would think that a player's not going to take all the money that he can get. That's insane to me. It's dumb. It's the craziest thing. And then to get on the internet, freaking Scott Boras, Scott Boras this, Scott Boras that. No. He got the money. You need to blame your owners and your GMs for not paying the money in order to get the players they want. And if they can't afford to get the players they want, then damn it, this is just what it is. I want a Lamborghini. I can't afford one right now. So what I should do is go get mad at the car industry and tell them they should lower the prices of Lamborghinis so then I could get one. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to get people that can afford to pay the price they want on Lamborghinis. So those people buy Lamborghinis. You know what I do? I don't get one. I don't get a Lamborghini. Unfortunately, Pirates fans, y'all don't get the Lamborghini. Y'all don't get them. You don't get them, and that's just the way it is. But then to turn and blame Scott Boras. Scott Boras, well, you shouldn't be trying to get your players that much money because that's not really fair for the fan base. They're supposed to be playing for us. We pay our hard-earned dollars. We want to see a better team come out there. I don't give a damn about none of that. They don't give a damn about none of that. They're worried about their families and the money that they make. This dude, okay, first off, Yamamoto or whatever his last name is, the fact that this motherfucker got 12 years, $325 million, and he's never pitched
right
in the MLB before is insane to me. But the Dodgers saw it. The Dodgers have a pretty big Asian fan base. That fits freaking perfect. They saw the benefit. Don't get mad at the agent for getting them the money.
Can we,
and I probably should
stop there real quick?
I apologize.
Rewind what you said. So here's the thing, right? 12 years, $325 million for a pitcher who's tiny. Like, there's not many who's held up. I'm like, think about like Tim Lincecum, who proved it in MLB, and it was amazing. Short dude, fell off. Right? I'm not saying everyone does. I mean, there's been good pitchers, but 12 years you're banking on 325. That's a lot. Guess what? Guess what Ohtani was able to do by structuring the way his contract is to allow that. So, like, that's why the people are like really hating on the Dodgers. Not only because they have all this money, but they were smart with it, Geddis. And they had a player who was willing to do that because that's what he wanted. So his agent said, I'm going to get you what you want. You want to get paid, I'm going to get you paid. But we'll structure in a way that the Dodgers can go ahead and build this team because you want to win, because you said, I don't care about the money we came over to America to begin with.
Right.
Because you fell under international rules. You came over on and just got the bonus pool money instead of waiting longer to come here and come as a free agent like Yamawata did. So now he got paid, but he wants to win because he went to the Angels and he didn't win. And he's over Mike Trout. And he saw a terrible organization. He said, I want to be in a winning organization. I want to win. Well, I'm going to make it happen at all costs and get paid. And Dodgers said, you know what? We can do that. We're going to be really, really smart. No team has ever done this. It's not bending the rules. What we're doing is allowing it.
Right.
Let's structure this way. And you know what they did? And again, you said it, but I don't think people are really thinking about this part. They got Ohtani. They got Yamada. They're on a West Coast team. Do you not think those contracts are almost also paying for themselves right now? Because they have the entire country of Japan now as Dodgers fans.
Yep.
The most that were Angels fans took them hats off. They dyed them blue. now they're Dodgers fans.
Exactly.
And then the rest that weren't sure are now Dodgers fan because they got both of them.
Yep.
For sure. They are going to, first off, make money because the deferral is the way it's structured on the deal. And then they're going to make money because they have the entire country behind their back. You know what that's called, Geddis?
What is that called?
That's called good business. You know how billionaires become billionaires? They're good businessmen.
Good business.
When you have a structure on a good team that thinks good business, they can make money, right? When they're there to make money and invest and to work out deals, to think smart and think ahead to make money, they're good. They can do that. And when you have another organization that makes their money off of killing things and not building things, you probably don't have good investment into your team. And so you're more risk adverse. You don't think, how can I invest and maybe make your team worth more in value? Maybe start bringing in dollars. You have a little more to spend. You think, how can I make sure I always have my bottom line? And that's what you get. The Dodgers said, I'm going to spend $1 billion and make it all back. And the Pirates says, ooh, I'm afraid to spend 40.
Scared money doesn't make money.
Boom.
Scared money doesn't make money. Scared money doesn't make money.
So my problem here too with all this as well with MLB is there's so much, and like I've said this time and time again, I've broken out numbers. Like the thing about there's no small market. There absolutely is. Like I'm smart enough to also understand that like Bob Nutting can't spend as much as the Yankees and Bob Nutting can't spend as much as the Dodgers, because if he did, well, then they would ultimately just spend more and price him out again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he can't say I'm going to outbid the Dodgers. I get that. Trust me. But my problem is you have so many people, so many ownerships that just sound like they're just dumb business people.
Yeah.
Like, where did you get your business degree at? Because like you could try to invest and promote and I don't know, bring the value of your franchises up even more and not relying on baseball to just organically do it for you.
Right.
And that's my problem. Like, where's the forward thinking a lot of these franchises?
Talk about
They're just bad businessmen. They've lucked into it.
Yeah. So I mean, so to conclude it all, I think people really need to really think about where their aggression is directed. It's kind of like one of those you can't hate the player, don't hate the player, hate the game things. If your team is not willing to spend the money to get some of the players that you want, you can't blame the agent. That doesn't make any sense. It's actually pretty stupid to do that. And like then go stand on your soapbox and then present this to the world as a viable a grievance. No. Your team they just don't spend that kind of money. They don't have that kind of money. You don't get those players. That's simple. If you're an average dude, you don't get Instagram models. Sorry. You can't look at the Instagram models and be like, you're shallow. You should look at the average guy and understand that he's a good dude to choose. No. They go after Chads. That's just the way it is. It is no different in this situation. If your team can't afford to go get an Ohtani, you cannot blame the agent for that. That is what the market dictates the price. And unfortunately, you do not qualify for this house. That's it.
Let me also do something. Let me also say I'm here before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it was before, but I said I'm going to change the wording on something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change the wording on something now too.
Mm-hmm.
When Apple buys Beats.
Yes.
How is that phrased? How is that perfect? Like, what is the macro level? Like, what's the view of that? Did they spend money or did they invest?
They invested. They acquired another company. It was an investment.
So I want to start changing. Teams need to stop spending money. Teams need to start investing money. And that's what it is, right?
Yes, it is.
The Dodgers didn't spend $1 billion. They invested $1 billion into their company.
Yep.
Is what they did. And Bob Nutting has so far invested $6 million into his company because that's what he values his company as, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's coming down to. Think that way. Start operating that way. It's not about teams spending money. It's what they're willing to invest into their product, into their business. And Bob Nutting doesn't want to invest into it. He doesn't want to invest. He is content he's content, woe me, first off, like we can't do this. We are a bottom team. So I need to feed off the revenue sharing that we do get. Don't go out there and invest. Just take what I have because that's what it is. And other teams are willing to invest into their product and grow it and build it and become something. I mean, again, like I understand there's still differences in every market and every fan base or whatever, but like the Cardinals invest into their team. And you know what? They have a top fan base and they have revenue and they have fans come. But do you know why they have fans come? Because they invest into their product. They don't watch it wither away for year after year after year and lose everything they had. They invest into their business. And there's just teams that simply don't invest into their product. And that's what the Pirates are. That's what the Marlins have been for how long? Like we look at the A's, right? There's also teams out there like the Tigers, right? That they invest for many years also. Stop thinking about spending, start thinking about investing.
Yep. And if you're upset that your team, any person for any team, because I did this, if you're tired of what your fact that your team is not investing and if you're tired that the owner's not investing in the team, you stop investing. Like I can't invest my time into this anymore. Now I'm not necessarily saying that because I'm not necessarily that maybe you should throw them to the trash, because North Shore 9 is still a thing here, so you got to pay attention.
But again, that's if you're talking about that, that's a real thing. Why aren't owners seeing that? Yeah. Right? If I invest, people will invest. And that's how you grow and build. That's why it's an investment.
Well, I think it's a good place to stop. This is I'm hot. I'm hot in my studio here, Vest. I feel like it was a nice, hard-hitting show. Y'all let us know what you think. If you have any comments, any gripes or anything like that, let us in the comments, know in the comments below. And if you agree, you might as well let us know that as well, too, because we like to engage and have conversations and all those kind of things. So, yes, we do appreciate you. If you made it to the end of the video, we appreciate that. Remember, if you have not already done it, hit the subscribe button, like the video. Please like the video because it helps the channel out immensely. Go ahead and hit the bell, too, so that way you get notifications because I'm telling you there's videos coming every single day, pretty much. Before we go, if you got anything new going on with North Shore 9, anything people should know about?
Oh my God.
What we got?
I mean, we've debuted a lot of the new stuff already. I mean, obviously the Clubhouse is one of the newer shows, Bucking Around. We'll have another one episode coming out. And it's on Cardboard's pumping out. Neil and Doug go to the movies. The new show came out. They did Christmas ones that they'll be coming out every 2 weeks. Of course, our Starbucks and it's on lives. So much. And of course, all the emergency podcasts whenever the Pirates decided to do something, which it was a hot week there for a while. So I don't know what's going to happen right now going forward. But again, just like Geddis said, if you hit the subscribe, hit that bell, you'll get notified probably every single day of when a video comes out. Right. and catch the blog too. You'll see all the stuff there. Kenny does a great job with that.
If there's anything that y'all want to see, what you like, what you don't like, let us know in the comments as well too, because we're forever changing, adapting, molding, moving, all that kind of stuff. It's good to get critiques so that way you get more hard-hitting stuff, more of the stuff that you want, more of the stuff that you need. So let us know. We appreciate you making it this far to the podcast. The Clubhouse every other Friday. Check all the new stuff that we have going on as well too. And with that said, we bid you farewell.
Bye-bye.
You all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.